A river that once shaped civilizations is disappearing. Not in centuries, but in our lifetime. The Euphrates River, one of the oldest rivers known to humanity, is drying up. But what if this is not just climate change? What if this was foretold thousands of years ago? The reality, what's happening now, stretching across modern-day Turkey, Syria, and Iraq. The Euphrates has been a lifeline for millions. But today, water levels are dropping rapidly. Entire sections are turning into dry land. Ancient ruins are beginning to emerge. Scientists point to climate change, dams, and water control, overuse of resources. But for many, this isn't just environmental. It feels symbolic. Why this river matters? The Euphrates is not just any river. It flows through the heart of ancient Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, the place where early cities were built, laws were written, humanity began to organize itself, but its significance goes even deeper. It is mentioned in the holy texts, not as a background detail, but as part of a future event. The prophecy in the holy texts, there is a passage that has puzzled scholars for centuries. It speaks of a time when a great river will dry up, not slowly over ages, but as part of a larger unfolding event. And what follows is not peace. It describes a moment where barriers are removed, where paths are opened, and where major conflict becomes possible. What does drying really mean? Is the drying of the river literal or symbolic? Some interpretations suggest it represents removal of protection, a shift in global power, or the opening of routes for large-scale conflict. Others take it more literally, that the river itself will physically shrink. Just as we are witnessing today, either way, the message is the same. Something is changing. The mystery of what's being revealed as the river recedes. Things long buried are being exposed. Ancient structures, forgotten landscapes, secrets hidden beneath water for centuries. It feels like the past is resurfacing. But the real question is, what else might be revealed? And why now? Connection to today's world. Look at the world today. Tensions in the Middle East, shifting alliances, growing uncertainty. It's a region where history, politics, and belief intersect. And now, a river tied to ancient prophecy is changing before our eyes. Is this coincidence? Or part of something larger? A warning or a sign? The holy texts often don't just predict events. They warn. They remind humanity that actions have consequences. Power is temporary, and change can come suddenly. The drying of the Euphrates may not be the event itself. It may be a signal. A moment that says, pay attention. What should we take from this? It's easy to focus on fear, to imagine worst-case scenarios, to connect every event to an ending. But the deeper message is different. The holy texts call for awareness, reflection, responsibility. Because in the end, the question is not just what happens to rivers or nations, but what happens to us. A river is drying. That much is real. Whether it is prophecy or simply the result of human actions, depends on how we choose to see it. But one thing is certain, moments like these have always meant something more. And perhaps this is not the end of a story, but the beginning of one. The signs may be around us, but the meaning is something we must choose to understand. If you want more deep insights like this, subscribe because the next sign might already be unfolding.